Hello, this video is on installing DPCalendar free. We're using Joomla 3.3.0 and DPCalendar free 4.0.2. So we find it in the extension package, we hit upload and install, and it takes just a moment and it'll be installed here shortly. One of the important things to do first thing when you install DPCalendar is to go in and do two things. One is to change the time zone setting in your global configuration in the server settings to make sure that that is the appropriate time. So we want to do that first, and I'm in New York, so make sure that this is set to your city for your website. Go ahead and hit save and close. And so now that's done, we need to now go back and look at components and then DPCalendar. And then up here in the corner it says options, this options button. This is where all of the settings for the different things appear for your calendar. So you have the calendar, map, list, event, form, commenting, integration, components, payment system, and permissions. So some of this is for the free version and some of this is for the paid versions. But the most important one here is the calendar one, because that's what's going to show up on your front page. Show calendars. This means on your list of calendars, you can have it shown, or you can lock it, or you can have it shown and expanded all the time. That's a little blue arrow at the top, or diamond at the top of your page. Show only my events, so when you log in, it's going to know whether or not it's just your events or everyone's events. Default view, I usually do month. Week starts on, for me, it starts on Sunday. Do I want to show the weekend? Yes or no? Yes, I do. Week mode, there's 3 modes: fixed, liquid, and variable. This has to do with the number of weeks that are shown on the calendar. Do I want to show week numbers? That'll be on the left side. I'll show you the week that it is for the year. Overlap events. This is actually the way that they display on the page. So if you've got 2 events that are at the same time, do you want them visually to overlap, or do you want them just side by side? You can set the calendar height. However, this is a there's a minimum. The calendar needs just so much space, so you cannot really make it 0. So you can only make it so small. Time and date settings for everything: the month, the week, the day, the list, the month, and so on. So there is a site. It's on. If you do the hover, it says www.php.net/date. And that'll give you the date and time formats that you can use. And I'll just say that for those that like a different format, 24-hour time, you delete this and you type in capital H instead of the G. Get rid of the A. The A is for AM, PM. Capital H here, and then again bracket. So the first part is the time, and the second part is the end time, if there is one. So this is now 24-hour time. Content before your calendar, content after. You can put HTML coding in here. Do you want a pop-up, or do you want, when you click on an event, or do you want it to go to a full page? So no is full page. And then the width and the height of the pop-up you can set. Quick add means if I click on a date and I have authorization to do an event, it'll allow me to add one just by clicking on the date on the calendar. Do I want to show the map underneath my calendar? Yes or no? And then the zoom width. So the zoom goes from 1, which is the world, to 20, which is street level, maybe a house, a single address. So you can pick the number here if you want to change the zoom. Let's make this a 6, and I'll be zoomed in more. Map width, you can make that a different size, and the height again. And then the first hour of the day, 6 in the morning. You can also have events that are very, very short times. You can set those up. And then again, the maximum time for the day. So 24 hours is what we have here for the day. So those settings are very important. There are also settings that you can put into your menu that are similar to these, but this is where the global settings are for the calendar. You can set up your map if you do just the map as a you want to view just the map, and you can also put in here as a module. You can have in the radius as kilometers or miles. You can set that. Again, only my events are not. The list, date format, and how much do you want to show in the list. The event, time and date formats, again, how this will show up on the event when you click on it. You can have the form that you use to enter the time and date. You can have this. So some people like to have a different display for the event time than the actual form. So this is a place to change that. Social and share. We have Facebook, Twitter, Google, and LinkedIn. And you can add those buttons, and the settings here are for those. I'm going to move quickly through here. You can try these out individually. If you're using an avatar, maybe you're using Joom Social or Community Builder, you can pull the pictures from those and display. Or if you want to have your users use a Gravatar, gravatar.com, I believe, and enter their own picture there, then they can show up next to their event. If you are a paid subscriber, you can look into your account on joomla.digital-peak.com and go into your My Profile settings, and there'll be an ID for you for your subscription. You can put that in here, and then when it's time to update, it should automatically run out, accept you as a paid subscriber, and then download that. Here you can set up, if people change or add events, you can have it send to a group. So if I'm the super user, it can send me an email when that event is being notified. Some events that you may set up in a paid environment, you can sell so many seats, and you can have people pay for their seats right here through PayPal or some other systems. And then permissions. Who can see and who can do what with your calendars? So you can set up your ACL here. That's all available on those settings. Save and close. And that's the options, but really the important one is that calendar option. Let's go to Components, DPCalendar, and let's look at the control panel. Here's where we can see the different things we can control. The events, add an event, calendars, and so on. So let's look at calendars first. And this is where we set up our different calendars. Right now the first one says uncategorized, and that'll be fine to start, but let's add one new calendar, and we can call it My Events. These are my events. And then over here, there's no parent. This will be the top one. We can publish it. We can select whether it's public or guest. By the way, if you set this to guest and your public comes in, you will see busy free settings instead of seeing the actual events. So we're going to make sure our access control matches our viewers. We'll hit save. One quick note, if you want to set the color for your calendar, you go from the category to options, and here is where you can set the color for all of your events in your calendar. Now each event, each individual event can have their own color, but if none is supplied, then this will be the color that your calendar is. And close. Now we have our new calendar here. We can also add in locations. So if I want to add in a new city, I can add a new location, and let's call this one Chicago. Country, USA. State is going to be Illinois. City, Chicago. Now if I get more specific, of course it's going to come in closer and closer, or I can set it by latitude and longitude, and then I can type in this is Chicago. By the way, one of the things you can do with this setup is you can do by room numbers and house numbers. You can be a little bit more exacting than you could before with G-Calendar. So let's save and close that one. So now we have a location. For events, we can create events. So let's go ahead and create a new event. New. And let's call this our Tuesday meeting. And let's put it under our My Events calendar. Let's give it a color of green. That's ugly. And let's give it a URL. Let's say that this is going to be at Google. And let's say that this is going to be at our Chicago location that we selected earlier. Start date. Let's do it on Tuesday 13th. Tuesday the 13th. And let's make it from 2:30 to, let's make it a 2-hour meeting, to 4:30. And then we can say, this is my Tuesday meeting. And there it is in Chicago. And let's save it. And if we go over to our other site and do a refresh, we can already see it's there, but I'll do a refresh anyhow. And so there's our Tuesday meeting. Now if I hover over it, it shows up. If I click on it, it's going to give me the event window with all of the information. So there you have it. That's how to create the events in DPCalendar.